Alright, today's video we're going to talk about something we're not going to talk too long about. We're going to talk about the little bit of fear I have for Destiny for the new DLC. And that is, I'm afraid they're going to treat it like every new DLC. Yes, there's some changes to the new armor system changes, which parts of the armor system look great, the other parts are kind of shit. 3 stats on an armor piece is pretty bad, instead of 6 stats, and I know some people might not understand why that is, but think about it now, you have 6 stats, it's very hard to get a god roll 4. Now imagine you have 3 stats, yes they might drop higher, but now the new cap is 200 for those stats, not 100. Their system was great if they would have kept it at 100, but because they moved it up a notch, it's now become a bigger problem. It's a lot harder to get better stats if you only got 3 you're working with instead of all 6 at once. Yes, it's harder in a sense, but it's also better. Like this chest piece, for example, I have mobility here, which is pointless on a Titan. I hate that I have mobility here, but that's the best chest piece I've ever gotten for Falling Star. All the rest have been trash. So eventually I'll probably get a better roll, which will be great. But now with the new armor system, this roll is going to become dog shit. All of my armor is pointless. And now it's going to be even harder to get triple 200 stats. Or even triple 100, potentially. Maybe triple 100 will be easier, but triple 200 is going to be very hard, if not impossible. And since this game is all about stats, it's going to be rough. So, not sure how that's going to work out. Also not sure if there's still mobility, resil, recov, or because if there is all 6 stats still, and only 3 stats can be, like I don't remember everything they talked about. It's been a while. I could go back and look it up, but I'm not going to bother right now. Too much effort. Not really, it's a lot of info, and to read through it all and try to find that perfect amount is, rough. But anyways, if it is all 6 stats still, can you only imagine if you have 3 stats, and it's completely random? Let's say you get an armor piece to drop, it's got mobility, and then it's got fucking strength, and then maybe, let's say, intellect or something, right? These 2 aren't bad, but that's shit. If it's on a Titan, you don't want mobility. Like, look at that, 51 mobility, it's kind of oof. Obviously, I am using a different armor set that I usually use because of nether farming. I use this armor set. So I would usually have like 20 or 30 mobility, but still not really necessary for a Titan. So, see the problem? So, yeah. So if you only get 3 stats instead of 6 stats, it's going to be a lot harder to get that better stat rolls than get what you want. Especially if it's random. Now, if it's only, can only drop, an armor piece can only drop with the grenade, intellect, and strength, and then one with mobility, resil, and recov, it'll be a little better. But at the same time, I don't remember if they even said if there's a bonus for if resil, recovery, and mobility can go to 200 if there's a bonus or not. I assume there's probably your class item still, which would just increase your class item chance maybe or some. I don't know. I have no clue. But I don't really like the system where it's random. If you everything over 100 gives you a chance at another grenade to drop. So if you use grenade, 200 grenade, you have a huge chance of getting 2 grenades when you use your grenade. Whereas if you have one, or when it fully charges, I think is what they said. When it fully charges, there's a chance to give you another one. Where if you have 100, you have basically no chance of getting a second grenade, I'm guessing. So that's pretty bad. That's not a great system, because that puts massive RNG in the pool, and that RNG will massively fuck you over. Especially in Crucible. And even if they disable that in Crucible, well, that's just pointless. Then why would you have 200? So they'd have to enable it in Crucible. And wouldn't it just suck if you lose a fight because some guy had 2 grenades because it recharged and it gave him 2? You survive the one, you're around a corner, he's not pushing because he's also weak because you dueled out, and you're like, okay, I have a minute here, I can heal, he can heal, and then all of a sudden, second grenade! Yes, there's an exotic that does that, but that's why it's an exotic. You know they're going to do that if they have that, but if it's just a chance, then every time their grenade charges up, they have that chance of getting a second grenade, and that completely takes RNG to a new level of bad. And we don't like that. So now you're going to have to buff even more into resil, or not resil, sorry, into strength, or, well, yeah, strength or discipline, depending on your thing. And I don't even know what intellect's going to do if you get to 200. I don't know what they said it was going to do. I don't remember all that. So, like I said, it's just, yeah. So that's worrisome on its own. We've got the new weapon system, which they said it's going to be like basically adept weapons are now, which is kind of depressing if you enhance your weapon to be an adept. It's cool, like, if it actually says it's adept, so it's a normal one, you do it and becomes adept or some, or becomes like adept. But if it does do that, then it kind of makes adepts pointless, because let's be honest here, it's probably not going to be that hard to level up a gun to adept level, even if it doesn't say adept. But if it allows you put on adept mods and give you the adept stats, which aren't much, but it is a little increase, then kind of pointless. I mean, I'm just saying, it's kind of pointless then. What's the point of adepts in the game? Are they going to take away adepts completely then? Or are they going to add a new type of weapon system entirely, something beyond adepts that are even better than adepts? Because if base weapons can now be just as good as adepts by enhancing and growing them and making them more powerful, then what's the point of adepts even existing anymore? Yeah, it'd be right away you get a weapon at that level, but at the same time, there's not a lot of material in this game. They've taken away a lot of the material stuff, so it's very easy to level things up. Because you can get the material very quickly if you just play the game. So, yeah, weapon system not looking too hot either. And it's very questionable. An ability system we know nothing about. They don't seem to be changing anything in the ability system, which, like I said, it needs a lot of buffs and nerfs and realignments, I've said in the past. So, the abilities definitely have their own issues. We don't have any new elemental weapons. We don't have prismatic weapons. If anything, we should have prismatic weapons by now, because that'd be the coolest thing. We don't have any new element release. We didn't get our third darkness subclass, which is a failure, because Bungie promised 3 darkness subclass before the saga ended, and it ended, and we got nothing. So we're probably getting a new saga. We're only going to get 1, which is bad, because again, it's a new saga. They even advertised it as a brand new game. That's what they said. It's going to be like playing a brand new game, even though it's still going to be called Destiny 2. It will be a brand new game. And if it's a brand new game, we should be getting multiple elements, multiple supers, multiple adjustments. Like, there should be a lot. Yes, the new system, they're adding 2 DLCs a year. They're the size of Shadowkeep, which means they're kind of meh. It's not a lot of content. It's kind of meh content. There's some cool stuff they're doing with that, but as a whole, it's kind of meh. But as a DLC launch for a new saga, it has to be like when D2 first launched. It has to be when Destiny first launched. There has to be a lot of stuff going on. And I'm afraid they're going to treat it like it's a normal DLC. 1 new subclass if we're lucky. Or maybe new supers, and that's it, to elements that already exist, which, no, that's stupid. That really is the worst case scenario. And 1 new element is also a worst case scenario. 2 new elements, I don't expect 3, but I think 2 would be reasonable. It'd be nice if they gave us 1 free element for everyone, which would be the 3rd darkness subclass, which 1 darkness subclass for free, 2 darkness subclasses you have to pay for. Kind of be a decent deal. Or at least make it where you can get 2 basic versions of the subclasses for the normal darkness. That'd be cool. The other 2 darkness. But if they don't add 2, at least 2, which I know seems a bit weird, but in D1, if I remember correctly, that's what they actually did. They had 3 elements, but they had 2 element types on each one, on each subclass. There was an element missing from each subclass, which they added later on, those missing elements. So eventually all 3 classes had Solar, Void, and Arc. So if they could do something like that here, is have 3 different elements. I know it'd be a bit weird and people would be like, what the fuck? But that'd be the thing where they're like, oh, well, the first part of the DLC, the first season will add this, and then that second season for that DLC, part of that DLC will add this. So then they could add the missing elements from each class later down the line. And that'd be really cool and a unique way to do it, and that might keep people entertained for a while. So, but then at the same time, each DLC comes out, are we getting new super elements between both DLCs? Are we only getting 1 element per year still? And then, like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of questions, and those questions are not answered even slightly. And that worries me. Because some of these questions are pretty basic, and they should just be able to say yes or no to. Or at least give a hint about. They don't have to give us leaks or spoils, they just have to give an answer to. Because we've looked at the game crashing and burning this last year massively fast. New season starts, people come and play. Couple weeks in, drops massively. Couple weeks in, drops worse. Next season, drops more. Like, that's how it kept going. Because people are like, wait, we finished the saga, it's over, who cares? Bungie won't tell us what's in the future, they won't show us even a tease, so who cares? And I know the release is soon. Oh, not the release, but the reveal is soon. And the release should be shortly after, within a few months. But at the same time, it is worrisome still. So, my worry is they're going to treat this like every DLC. And like every DLC, it's going to crash and burn if it's treated that way. Because this is a new saga, a new game. Might still have the same name, but it's a new game. It cannot be a new game if you give it the same treatment it's been giving all these years. So, That's my concerns. We talked about a lot of issues. Like I said, there's a lot of things that have issues in the game. From abilities need to be redesigned. Some fragments and aspects need to be redesigned. There needs to be new ones added to both sides of it. New abilities, new supers, melees, grenades, as a whole. New things as a whole for the ability system. The ability system is quite whatever it's called. It's lacking a lot, okay? It's lacking a lot because it kind of sucks. A lot of the abilities in the game are either complete trash or useless. And then the other ones that are good are the only ones that are good. And then there's a lot of aspects that are pointless, and there's a lot of fragments that are pointless. They need a revamp. There's a lot of arc fragments that don't have any benefit at all. They don't give a plus or a minus. They're just blank. And that's not good for build crafting, like they say they want it to be. So, yes, they added some cool new aspects this season, but as a whole, it needs a lot of work. And for a new saga to start, that work should happen. There should be new stuff added to that, and there should be new stuff as a whole, new elements and stuff, because it's a new saga. New elements are kind of in the description, in my opinion. They're kind of something that should exist. Anyways, that's me done rambling. I just wanted to make a point that I'm worried about the future of Destiny because they treat this like a DLC. It's just going to be like every other DLC. It's going to have a huge population for 5 minutes, and then it's going to crash and burn, and they're not going to make enough money to keep the game running, and the game will shut down. That's the future that Bungie holds right now, unless they actually do something unexpected and something I don't believe they will do, which is drop 3 new subclass elements, grab a whole bunch of weapons, grab a whole bunch of weapon archetypes that we've never seen or even thought they'd add to the game. Something crazy, and things we've asked, things we haven't asked for. I just don't see it happening. Will I still play the game, especially since the seasons are going to be free now? Yeah. I'm still going to play the game, probably. But I know for a fact the game starts dying very quickly again, like just as quick as it's been dying this year. Then definitely going to have to be other games we play, that's for sure. And Marathon won't carry. I don't care what anyone says, Marathon won't carry. Marathon might make some decent money, maybe to keep itself afloat, maybe make enough money to keep it going really well. It's not going to be able to afford to pay for both games and development of both games. Destiny 2 is their moneymaker. It was always going to be their moneymaker. And if they don't succeed, then it's going to crash and burn, and we're going to watch Marathon and Destiny 2 both crumple and fall and die. That's the reality of it. It sucks, but that is the reality of it. I really hope Bungie does the right decision and treat this saga start as something brand new completely all around. Yes, there's new mechanics. Yes, there's new things, but it's not enough. It's just showboating. It's not actually good stuff in the sense where it's like, oh my god, that's crazy. Look at this. The things that matter, we haven't heard about, and that's what makes me worried. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment what you think. If you think I'm completely wrong, let me know. If you think I'm right, I get it too. So thanks for watching. Adios. We out. Adios.